Well, thank you so much for joining me. This is like your world premiere of Substack Live, right?
Yes, and so thank you for welcoming me and being so easy to make this happen. I'm learning and I'm loving it.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's what it is. We got to just make it easier, have more entry points, have more conversations so people are paying attention. So you just launched your Substack, right? I read your first article. What's your plan for that, especially as we move into this, you're not going to be on the ballot for 2026. So how are you planning to use this platform to reach more people?
Well, I think Substack is just another really important tool in terms of organizing and getting the message out of the high stakes of this election year. I mean, we have a tendency to think about presidential elections and skip over the midterms, but this is so important. We know that who Democratic governors are matter, right? It matters in a pandemic. It matters when you're just trying to protest what you think is federal government overreach. Who your governor is matters. And so I am the vice chair of the DGA right now. And so my job not only is to lead the state of Michigan, but also to make sure that we're in a strong position going into the election, but also to help all the Democrats who are running for governor across the country. I'm excited. We got phenomenal leaders, but it's got to be all hands on deck this season, this election year, because 2028 depends on what happens right now.
Right, exactly. Thank you so much. And speaking of still continuing to lead the state while you are finishing up your term, I know you just launched a new program, Kids RX, right? That's going to make it more affordable for parents to be able to afford prescriptions. Can you talk a little bit about that and kind of go into all the affordability issues that people are feeling and how governors and other local elected officials can still make change in their areas, even if we can't at the top right now.
Yeah, I love to hold this up as a great example of what's possible, even when everything feels like a dumpster fire, right? It's still possible to do really good things that make people's lives better. So, RX Kids, we announced we're expanding. This is a program that was kind of designed by Dr. Mona, who was the doctor in the Flint water crisis, who identified the lead that was leaching into little kids
Wow.
through drinking water. And this is a focus on new moms and babies where you get the prenatal care going into pregnancy and post pregnancy. You get dollars directly to help you get through that first year. Everything's so expensive right now. And we know that those first couple of months, but also the first few years of life, are set you up for lifelong health and lifelong wealth. And so we've got to make sure that our new moms and babies have the nutrition and the medical support and just don't have to worry about an additional stressor because it's a hard enough time of life as it is. You remember, Kate,
It
and I sure as heck do, even though it was a long time ago.
Oh my
6
gosh.
years.
It's so much. Talk about a mental load. There's a lot going on, when especially when you have a new baby, especially in that first year. So I love that that's what it's targeted at. Because there's also so much data that shows, like, so much of the brain development, I think 90% happens in the first few years of a child's life. And so making sure they have access to healthcare is going to set them up, for better success down the line, and ultimately is just a wonderful investment in our societies as well, because there's all this research that the more they're taken care of as a little baby, the better adult they are going to kind of grow into.
It's a real game changer. And I was in Detroit yesterday. We expanded it to Detroit. It's all across the Upper Peninsula now. So it's rural communities and very urban settings. But we know that the challenges are the same, right? Access in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan right now. So right there, the UP,
Mhm.
it's very rural. There, because of the cuts that came out of Washington, D.C., OB-GYN services are very hard to come by in the Upper Peninsula. So any additional supports that we can give are so meaningful, especially when the cost of everything is so damn high right now.
Right, exactly. Um, that is wonderful. Thank you so much for telling us about that. And segueing into kind of what I want to talk about next, and how much power governors, especially Democratic governors right now, have at their state levels. I'm in Wisconsin, so and obviously Governor Evers has said he is not running again, and so we have quite a very talented slate of candidates that are running. Can you talk a little bit about what your experience has been being a governor, and especially, I know for a while you had a Democratic trifecta and were able to get things through, and you don't have that now, and also you've had different administrations at the top. As people look to this next election cycle, either in Wisconsin or Michigan or anywhere else where there's big elections, what can they understand about what a governor can do for the people of its state, and what should they be looking for in terms of um, what the candidates are saying?
I think, the reason I love being a governor, even on the hardest day, I feel so grateful to be here because can see the work that we're doing. I just came from a school district. I signed a law today that gives districts, limitations on phones in the classroom, right? We're trying to improve outcomes for our students, help our teachers be able to not have to compete for attention. And it was bipartisan. It's going to be meaningful. And we've seen in other states that have already done this what it means. Kids are checking out more library books. They're talking more. They're more social during lunch. They're actually talking to one another, playing games. I mean, it's had real positive impact already. And so who your governor is, it really matters. Tony Evers and I came in at the same time. Thank goodness we had Tony Evers in Wisconsin and me in Michigan. And frankly, we're thrilled that we've got Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania. Our states tend to decide the outcomes of big elections, right? But having a Democratic governor there meant that we could have confidence that the election was run securely and that the votes were counted and that the outcome was abided by. Having Democratic governors means kids in Michigan get free breakfast and lunch every single day now in our schools. Having a Democratic governor means when there's a pandemic, you got someone who's going to make decisions based on science and the best medical counsel that they can get, as opposed to whatever comes across their feed in terms of what how to advise people. So I think it's made a huge difference in all three of our states and across the country. I can look at what's going on in Kansas, where Laura Kelly has brought down taxes on groceries, where I can look to Massachusetts, where Maura Healey every day is showing up and fighting to protect her communities. I mean, it's these Democratic governors are doing great work, and it matters who your governor is to your everyday life even more than who's in Washington, D.C. in some ways.
Absolutely. And so, congrats on getting elected vice chair of the Democratic Governors Association. Tell us a little bit more about that and how, I mean, I'm assuming like you just said, you have such great conversations with your other Democratic governors in there, and I'm sure you all share ideas and stuff. How is that significant in moving legislation forward and making sure you all have the right strategy for your own states?
Yeah, the greatest thing right now is we've got a really deep bench of great Democratic leaders across the country. And the governors, right now, about over 60% of the country has a Democratic governor right now. And I think that's important to remember. Everything feels so one-sided and lopsided about because of what's going on in Washington, D.C. And yet, on the ground, people have elected Democrats because I think we really are focused on bringing down people's costs. We really are focused about opportunity. We see what a tariff means to the auto industry a lot better than someone in Washington, D.C. does. And that's why the policies that we're fighting for are really about good jobs and helping people keep money in their pockets. So, as I hit the road with my fellow Democratic governors and candidates for governor, I'm excited about people like Abigail Spanberger, who just won in Virginia, and Mikey
Yeah.
Sherrill in New Jersey. It is a very talented bench. We make each other smarter and better because we work well together, and I think that's what people want, right? You want an elected official who works as hard as you do, if not harder, and is as good as you are on your best day, if not better. And that's what I think you get out of Democratic governors across this country.
Absolutely. And I think that the governors specifically have a unique position to not really play politics as much because they just have to fix problems for the people that live in their state and are really focused on executing solutions to those problems. And as we look ahead to this election cycle, you said you're going to be on the road with the Democratic Governors Association. I know you have your PAC as well, where you're helping to, to help people who are running for office or considering a run for office. What are you focused on as you go around to different states talking to regular people?
I think one of the things, that I love to do is listen to people, ask them what's going on in your life. What do I need to know? And when you do that, it becomes very clear what you need to work on, where you need to spend all your energy. It also becomes clear we're not all that different, right?
Mhm.
The average person is just working hard. They want a fair shot. They want a real opportunity. They want the best for their kids. I mean, this isn't cutting edge new science, right? It's
Mhm.
just it's what people want. It's what unites us. And I think making sure that we are telling the story of what we have done. I always remind people a governor can't control international inflation. A governor cannot undo tariff chaos that's coming out of the White House. But what we can do is make your life easier on the ground, right? So whether it's feeding your kids in school, or it's giving retirees some tax relief, or it is helping a business navigate, government, which is hard, and making that streamlined. That's how a governor can make your life better, create more opportunity for you, and that's I think the message of what Democratic governors do, and why I'm eager to get that out and about. Because if you can win a state like Michigan by almost 11 points, which is what I did 2 years ago, you can win anywhere with that message. It works because that's what people want and need to see.
Yeah, and as a fellow swing stater, 11 points is just, I mean, astronomical. Um, as we kind of finish up here, I'm wondering, so obviously I'm a mom, I have young kids, I know you're a mom too, and a lot of my audience is made up of busy moms, many who are just starting to get more involved, many who are um, stressed with everything in life, but also really concerned about a lot of things that are going on. What advice do you have for them in terms of like locking in and paying attention and or maybe contributing in some way, even if they feel like they don't know enough or they don't have enough time?
When I first had my kids, I remember a reporter asked me, how did having kids change me? I said, it didn't change my values, but it eliminated my patience. Not my patience with my kids, my patience with people who just want to better their own situation as opposed to work for others. It lowered my patience for BS, like I
Mhm.
just want to get things done. And I see every year going by in the growth of my own kids. And so like that makes me stay in this work and eliminates my patience for BS. And so what my thought is, we have to have an Avengers style mindset, right? Everyone needs to do what they can when they can in the way that's most beneficial for them and makes sense for them and their community. I always get the question, should this governor do that the way you're doing this? I said, no, I'm from Michigan. They're from whatever state they're from, right?
Right.
It's got to be Avengers mindset. Everyone jump in and do what you can. And a mom who is busy, balancing all the things new moms have to balance can still make an impact because you've got connections, you've got connectivity, and use it, right? Don't
Yes.
hold yourself back and think, I need to have a degree in political science in order to run for school board. No, you don't. Don't think you have to have, this kind of understanding or this many years of experience to have an opinion. You don't. You've got
Mhm.
lived experience, you've got a network of people, and you can make a difference no matter what it looks like.
And that's what it is, and that's what I tell people all the time. It's, you know, p political movement is so much about organizing, and moms are like the OG organizers. Every mom I know has a Rolodex of people they could call right away if they need something and get people. I mean, we're seeing it in Minnesota too, of all the group chats and people helping out and making meals, and, so yes, I love that advice because it should be accessible. Do what you can when you can. Don't go too hard on yourself.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited that you are on Substack now, and we will be watching for more videos from you or more articles. Is there anything else you want to tell anybody or somewhere you'd like them to go to look for more information about how to get involved?
Follow us, and I'm doing trainings for people that want to get involved or want to run for office through my Fight Like Hell organization. So we welcome input, we welcome feedback, and we welcome partnership. So know that, as we move through this year, there's going to be a lot of work to do. And I'm looking forward to connecting with everyone who wants to be in the good fight.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining me, and for everybody who was on this live today, thank you so much for taking the time to listen.
Thanks, Kate.
Bye.